Ladies and gentlemen, this morning at approximately 7:15 a.m. Central Standard Time, my number one source was released from Texas State Penitentiary Prison, and he is free. Guys, we're so happy, we're so excited to get back on track with Ohio State recruiting news, and everyone is freaking out. What's going on with Caleb Downs? People think he's going to Alabama. Guys, you have to understand, when you're dealing with a recruit like Caleb Downs, there's going to be some adversity. Alabama's a great program. They're great at recruiting, but I have been reassured from my number one source who delivered me a personal message via FedEx. Caleb Downs is a Buckeye. And guys, adversity, whatever, everyone's saying he's training to Alabama. Don't listen to any of it. This kid's a Buckeye. I put my reputation on the line for this kid. My number one source's reputation is on the line. When we get proven right, it will be the biggest shock of the recruiting industry. Caleb Downs, that's the guy Ohio State has zeroed in on. They got the last visit. They were tied going into the last visit, and they shut the door on the last visit. We're going to have to deal with some adversity. You're going to hear rumors. This past week, Alabama. Next week, it's going to be Georgia. But at the end of July, that's all that matters. Caleb Downs, guys, the superstar safety. What a massive get this is going to be for Ohio State. And it's going to completely be the mega bomb to end the month of July. But we've got other guys committing. We've got a very good tight end prospect actually committing tomorrow, Sunday at noon Eastern, Jelani Thurman. And guys, I talked about this in my last Ohio State video. 247 Sports has this kid as the number 3 tight end in the nation, and we've heard some things about Thurman being compared to Kyle Pitts. Of course, he was a superstar tight end, kind of the hybrid tight end, big body or tall, but kind of skinny at Florida. He ended up being the number 4 overall pick of the Atlanta Falcons. That's who this kid profiles like. And once again, the rankings breakdown for Thurman, who is announcing tomorrow at noon, and I'm sure you guys know he is expected to pick Ohio State, but we're going to let him announce. On3 has him as a top 200 player. 247 has him all the way at 68. ESPN has him at 156. And then Rivals, unfortunately, they actually have him as the number 17 tight end in the nation. So maybe he's due for a bump from Rivals. Although I think Rivals just recently came out with their 2023 update. But guys, I've been saying this for a little while now. We're still waiting on the midsummer update from 247 Sports. I'm guessing it's coming next Wednesday. That's when I think it's coming. Originally, I thought it was going to be this week, but right now, all of the recruiting guys are probably talking. They're probably getting together their new rankings. We're expecting major bumps for several cornerback commits for Ohio State. Kyan Lee, Dijon Johnson should shoot up, skyrocket up the rankings, and that's going to be so great. You add Thurman on Sunday. We've got an official time for John Walker, the One Tech defensive tackle from the state of Florida. He is announcing July 28th at noon Eastern Standard Time, July 28th. This is the number 97 player in the nation, so he's a top 100 player. It's Ohio State, it's UCF, and it's Florida. The Buckeyes know they need to get him. This is the One Tech they've been targeting. He visited Ohio State in June, and I think Ohio State's going to get him over both Florida and UCF. The only issue is Florida, we know how involved they are with NIL. I'm sure they're throwing him a major offer. But then again, Thurman, I was concerned with Thurman and his involvement with Michigan State because I know Michigan State's been, let's be honest, weaponizing the NIL. They're kind of the one school in the Big Ten that is blatantly doing that. But they've still been able to, it looks like, land Thurman tomorrow, even with Michigan State, presumably offering Thurman, the NIL type packages, and we've discussed all of that, where they weaponize the NIL. It's illegal, but the NCAA is not enforcing the rules, which enables schools to go basically off the rails. And we've seen it with Miami this year. We saw it with Texas A&M last year. We're seeing it with Louisville this year. We're seeing it with Tennessee this year. So, guys, by the way, I forgot to mention this. So the whole thing with Tennessee, a lot of people probably don't remember. When I first started making these recruiting videos, it was probably like a month before Carnell Tate committed to Ohio State. And at the time, it was kind of a toss-up between Tennessee and Ohio State. And I came out with a video because there was like a rumor that Ohio State was going to get Carnell Tate like a month before he announced, or it was like swinging back into Ohio State's direction. Because there was a time when Tennessee was offering Carnell Tate 7 figures NIL, and he was actually like, they were leading for him. But then there was a report that it was swinging back, and I posted a recruiting video titled, Tennessee is getting desperate. And what I had said in that video was, I think Tennessee is going to take the 7-figure offer, the money that they offered to Carnell Tate, take that money because they're not getting Carnell Tate, and use it to get a pass rusher, an edge rushing 5-star. And guess what? That pass rusher ended up committing to Tennessee a few days ago. So I completely called it. That's exactly what Tennessee... These programs are such a joke. Especially these bottom feeder SEC irrelevant programs. I could literally call their recruiting strategy 2 months out. And this is not me, doing revision, revising history. There's video documentation. I said, I think because Tennessee's not going to be able to land Carnell Tate, that frees up a free $3 million they were going to use to get Carnell Tate. They're just going to redistribute their funds. And that's exactly what they did. The pass rusher 5-star Bradley kid, I think his last name is Bradley, from Missouri. So it's completely what happened. It is hilarious. When I came out with that video, Tennessee fans were like, oh, you're so stupid. Carnell Tate's going to go to Tennessee. Carnell Tate turns down a 7-figure offer from Tennessee. He goes to Ohio State for free. And if you say, oh, Ohio State gave him an offer, where's the offer? Where is it? These deals get reported every single day. We saw Miami give a quarterback, $9 million. Tennessee gave their quarterback $5 million. If Ohio State gave Carnell Tate an illegal NIL deal, it would probably get reported. So if you think they did, where's the deal? It's just, these programs are so... SEC programs like Tennessee, Florida, nothing against the fan bases, but the way the schools operate, it's like the desperation. Oh my God, it's hilarious. But guys, this is just another thing I saw, and this got me so angry. 2022 top 100 recruits by school. Do you guys realize Texas A&M signed basically 1/5 or 20% of the top 100 recruits? They signed 18. Their entire class was top 100 players. That just makes me mad. It really does. We know how crazy their class was. We know how blatantly they cheated. Basically 1/5 of the top 100 was signed by A&M in 2022. Good Lord. You think that's a healthy ecosystem? And Alabama signed 15. Now, you can kind of understand with Alabama, their development, but no. Totally legit. To Texas A&M fans, they've told me they didn't cheat. It's just 18 of the top 100 players in the nation want to be developed by the Texas A&M coaching staff. That's what they told me. Oh, that's so disgusting. That is so disgusting. Also, guys, we had another 2024 rankings update after ESPN finally released their initial 2024 rankings. The composite subsequently updated, and you take a look at the top players in the state of Ohio. Aaron Scott, the cornerback, is now the number 2 player in the state. This is great news. Ohio State wants this kid really bad. Bryce West is almost a 5-star. He's close. He's not quite there yet, but he's close. He's probably a cornerback as well. And then you've got Brian Robinson, who could be a national recruit. I talked about him in my last video. From Youngstown, Ohio, he already has a Georgia offer, and he currently is the 172 player in the nation, according to the composite. And guys, the state of Ohio class in 2024 is extremely talented. You've also got a running back, Jordan Marshall. You've got an interior offensive lineman, Luke Hamilton, who both of those guys are Ohio State caliber. So you could be looking at Ohio State if you're able to land Bryce West, Aaron Scott, Brian Robinson, Luke Hamilton, Jordan Marshall. That is a great infrastructure to go along with Dylan Raiola to start the class of 2024. This is great news. The in-state talent in 2024 is awesome. And then hopefully, could you imagine a cornerback class of Ellis Robinson IV, Bryce West, and Aaron Scott? I'm sure they would sign up for that right now. It's going to be very tough to get Ellis. He visited back in June on a 2-day visit, but he's a national recruit. Of course, Bryce West and Aaron Scott being from Cleveland and Springfield, those guys should be a little bit easier for Ohio State to land. And if they really push for them, we would expect Ohio State to get both of those guys, at whatever time. I'm sure as they want to get them as soon as possible. You want to shore up the in-state guys, kind of like they've done this year with Luke Montgomery and others, and then focus on the out-of-state guys. So we got some major news coming up. It's huge. Tomorrow, the Buckeyes possibly getting another great tight end commit. What a great job by this coaching staff, this Ohio State coaching staff, getting 2 extremely solid 4-star tight ends. It's tough to recruit tight ends if you're Ohio State. You could say Jeremy Ruckert, he got drafted, but did we really utilize him? So there's probably some negative recruiting against Ohio State in the way they use tight ends, but it looks like they're going to still be able to land 2 really solid 4-star talents, top 150 type talents. This is great news, guys. We're following it. We're tracking it. It's huge. Make sure you're following me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description. I'm, of course, the Depressed Ginger. Thank you for watching.